Welcome to the Call, Park, and Retrieve tutorial. This multimedia sales tool is intended as a high-level overview for the end-user customer who wants to understand the basics of Call, Park, and Retrieve and how it can help their business. Let's start by taking a look at a basic description of Call Park. Call Park is a feature that allows any user to put an active call in a temporary holding location such that it can be retrieved by a different user from any other phone in the organization. Call Park is typically used in conjunction with a paging or intercom system. As example, you may often hear over a store's intercom system an announcement such as, "Sporting goods, please pick up on line 201. Call Park offers many flexible configuration options to meet the unique needs of a business in order to provide a better experience for both employees and customers. Let's take a look at a few simple scenarios that will illustrate some of the more commonly used features of Call Park. Our first scenario is a small business who has deployed basic Call Park and are looking for a solution that works with their existing phone sets without making any changes. As there is no dedicated receptionist, incoming calls go directly to each employee. However, sometimes the employee that answers the call is not the correct person to deal with the issue. In our example, Sally answers the call, but quickly discovers she doesn't have the expertise to answer the question. She knows that Mary is the right person to speak to, so Sally presses the flash hook on her phone, enters a feature access code, and parks the call against Mary's extension. Sally then pages Mary, telling her that she has a call on extension 1234. Note that the system will play a denial tone if that extension already has a call parked against it. In this case, Mary is in the office but is not at her desk, but she is still able to pick up the call from another phone in the office by entering the access code and her extension. If Mary was at her own desk, she would only have had to have entered the access code to pick up the call, as the system would have recognized that she was picking up the call from her own extension. Our second scenario is a car dealership who has a dedicated receptionist and has just deployed new SIP-based phones for all of their users. They are looking for a way to manage incoming calls for employees who are seldom at their desks. Thus, they have chosen to deploy Group Call Park using banks of extensions that are assigned by an administrator to each different department. As example, if the call is for sales, the receptionist parks the call simply by pressing the assigned soft key on her SIP phone. Due to the pre-programmed soft key, she does not need to use a feature access code. The system then automatically selects an available extension from the list that was provisioned by the administrator. The system will also provide an announcement and/or a phone display indicating which extension was selected, and the system will inform the receptionist. The receptionist would then page the sales group with the correct extension. And of course, the same procedure would be used for the other departments. Note that if the call is not answered within a predetermined amount of time, the call automatically reverts back to the receptionist who parked the call, and the system will notify her that the park call has returned. The main advantage of Group Call Park is that the user does not have to manually track which extensions have calls parked against them. In our last scenario, we are going to look at a real estate office that has also chosen to deploy Group Call Park. However, as the receptionist can be very busy, especially at peak times, they don't want unanswered calls to revert back to the receptionist. Thus, they have chosen to handle reverted calls using hunt groups. All incoming calls go to the receptionist, who parks the call and announces it to the office. Should the call go unanswered, instead of going back to the receptionist, the reverted call is sent to a hunt group that is configured to loop through an assigned list of extensions. In the unlikely case that the call is still not answered, the call will go to the company voicemail. please contact your service provider to find out more about other options for handling reverted calls, as well as features such as hunt groups, voicemail, and other services. In summary, CallPark is an easy and efficient way for businesses to handle the distribution of incoming calls. There are numerous ways to deploy CallPark, including Basic CallPark and Group CallPark, as well as many configurable options including multiple ways to alert users of park calls, multiple ways to handle reverted calls, and multiple ways to pick up park calls. So remember, it's important to consult with your service provider to find the right configuration for your business. Thank you for watching the CallPark tutorial.